Look up at the night sky. Every star you see is a sun, some larger, some smaller, some burning hotter or cooler. And around many of those stars, planets orbit in perfect silence. Some of them are like Earth, with liquid water, thick atmospheres, and just the right conditions for life. Now multiply that by hundreds of billions, because our galaxy alone contains at least 100 billion stars. And beyond that, there are 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe, each one containing countless planets, moons, and potential homes for life. With numbers that vast, one thing should be obvious. We cannot be alone, or at least, we shouldn't be. So where is everybody? Why don't we see alien civilizations spreading across the stars? Why is the universe so eerily silent? This is the Fermi Paradox, one of the greatest scientific mysteries of all time. And the answer to this question might determine the fate of our own species. Because what if the silence isn't just a coincidence? What if it's a warning? To understand why this mystery is so unsettling, let's break it down. First, we know that the building blocks of life are everywhere. Astronomers have found organic molecules, the basic ingredients of life, on asteroids, comets, and even deep in interstellar space. We've discovered exoplanets in the habitable zone of their stars, where liquid water can exist, just like on Earth. And given enough time, life has a way of adapting and evolving. On our own planet, life has survived asteroid impacts, mass extinctions, ice ages, and even the most extreme environments imaginable. So if life emerges easily and survives against all odds, then why don't we see alien civilizations thriving across the cosmos? Somewhere out there, intelligent beings should have mastered interstellar travel, built massive megastructures, or at the very least, sent out detectable signals. And yet, there's nothing. No artificial radio waves, no Dyson spheres, no galactic empires, just an overwhelming, haunting silence. And that's where things get disturbing. One possible explanation is that there is something called the Great Filter. It's a theoretical barrier, an invisible force that stops civilizations from advancing beyond a certain point. And it might be the reason we don't see anyone else. The Great Filter could exist at any stage in the development of intelligent life. Maybe life itself is extremely rare, so rare that we are one of the only planets to ever host it. Maybe complex life, cells, animals, ecosystems, is almost impossible to evolve. Or maybe the hardest step of all is the one we're about to face. Because if the Great Filter is still ahead of us, then that means every civilization before us has failed. They reached a certain level of progress, and then something stopped them, permanently. And if that's true, then we might be next. If the Great Filter is real, then what exactly is it? What is so devastating that no civilization, not one, has managed to escape its grasp and spread across the stars? There are several possibilities. Number 1, life itself is extremely rare. One explanation is that the Great Filter is behind us, right at the very beginning. Maybe life is so incredibly rare that Earth is one of the only planets where it has ever emerged. Think about it. Life on Earth required a perfect combination of chemical conditions, stability, and billions of years to evolve into complex organisms. What if microbial life is rare? Or worse, what if the leap from simple cells to complex life is nearly impossible? On Earth, single-celled life appeared over 3.5 billion years ago. But complex multicellular life didn't evolve until just 600 million years ago, a gap of nearly 3 billion years. If this step is so unlikely that it has only happened once in the entire history of the universe, then we aren't alone because civilizations die out. We're alone because we were the only ones to ever exist. Number 2, intelligent life is unlikely to develop. Let's say microbial life is common. That still doesn't mean intelligent life is. Even on Earth, humans are an anomaly. Dinosaurs ruled for over 150 million years, yet they never developed technology. Mammals existed for tens of millions of years before one branch, our ancestors, began using tools and developing culture. If intelligence is not an inevitable outcome of evolution, then perhaps the Great Filter is simply this. Most life stays simple, never evolving into something capable of building civilizations. If this is true, then our intelligence is a cosmic accident, something that almost never happens. But what if intelligence isn't the problem? What if life and even intelligence are common, but the real great filter is something far more terrifying? Number 3, advanced civilizations inevitably self-destruct. If alien civilizations once existed, then the most chilling possibility is that they always destroy themselves before becoming spacefaring. Maybe once a species reaches a certain level of technological development, it inevitably creates the tools of its own destruction. Perhaps every civilization invents weapons so powerful that they wipe themselves out before they ever leave their home planet. On Earth, we've already created these weapons: nuclear war, climate collapse, artificial intelligence, biotechnological disasters. We've had nuclear weapons for less than a century, yet we've come close to annihilation multiple times. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 brought the world within minutes of full-scale nuclear war. What if every civilization reaches this point and doesn't make it past? Maybe the great filter is the moment when a species develops the power to destroy itself. And maybe, just maybe, no one has ever survived it. But there's another possibility, one that's even more horrifying. What if the great filter isn't natural at all? Number 4, what if the reason we don't hear from alien civilizations is because they're being silenced? Maybe space is not empty. Maybe it's a hunting ground. Perhaps whenever a civilization begins broadcasting its existence, sending signals into space, it attracts something older, something powerful, and something that does not want competition. If such an entity exists, it might see new civilizations as threats, and the moment they become advanced enough to be noticed, they are removed. Could this explain why the universe is silent? Because every civilization that reaches a certain point disappears? If this is true, then we are in danger. We've already sent out radio signals, probes, messages. We are announcing our presence to the universe. And if someone or something is listening, it may already be on its way. If the great filter is real, what does that mean for us? Are we the lucky few who have already passed it? Or are we marching straight toward an unseen disaster? This is not just a philosophical question, it's a matter of survival. Because if the great filter exists, then it means that something, somewhere, has stopped every civilization before us from expanding into the galaxy. And if we don't understand what that is, then we might be next. Scenario 1. The great filter is behind us. This is the optimistic view. Maybe we've already overcome the hardest barrier, and the reason the universe seems empty is that almost no one else made it this far. Think about it. What if the biggest hurdle wasn't developing advanced technology, but something that happened long before that? One possibility is that life itself is extremely rare. For billions of years, Earth was nothing but rock and chemicals. Then somehow, life emerged. Maybe that step, the jump from non-living chemicals to the first self-replicating molecules, was nearly impossible. If that's true, then most planets in the universe never develop life at all. Another possibility is that complex life is the real bottleneck. For almost 3 billion years, life on Earth remained at the microbial stage. Multicellular life only appeared relatively late, and intelligent life even later. What if this transition is so unlikely that we are among the only species to achieve it? If the great filter is behind us, then we might be one of the first and only intelligent civilizations in the universe. That would make us incredibly special. But there's a much darker possibility. Scenario 2, the great filter is still ahead of us. What if the reason we don't see any alien civilizations isn't because life is rare, but because something destroys every civilization before it can reach the stars? If that's true, then we might be on the verge of the very same fate. This idea is terrifying because it means that no matter how advanced a civilization becomes, there is a barrier it cannot cross. And if we haven't hit it yet, we will. Let's say intelligent civilizations do arise frequently. If that's true, then the galaxy should be full of life. We should see evidence of their existence. Massive megastructures, artificial signals, colonies on distant planets. But instead, we see nothing. No alien radio transmissions, no galactic empires, just silence. A silence that could mean only one thing: something is wiping them out. But what? There are several terrifying possibilities. One of the most unsettling explanations is that advanced civilizations tend to destroy themselves before they can spread beyond their home planet. And when we look at our own history, that possibility becomes frighteningly real. Consider this: the moment humanity became technologically advanced, we also gained the power to annihilate ourselves. Nuclear war could erase us in a matter of hours. Climate change could render the planet uninhabitable. Uncontrolled artificial intelligence could surpass us and decide we are obsolete. A biological catastrophe, engineered or natural, could wipe us out before we ever reach the stars. And these aren't just science fiction scenarios. Every single one of these dangers is real. In fact, we are already balancing on a knife's edge. Nuclear tensions still exist. AI is advancing at an unpredictable pace. The climate is changing faster than expected. What if every civilization before us faced the same challenges and failed? What if the reason we see no one else is because intelligent life always destroys itself? Of course, it may not be our fault at all. The universe is a dangerous place. Asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, gamma-ray bursts, black holes, solar flares, any of these could easily wipe out a civilization before it ever spreads to another star. Earth itself has been hit by mass extinctions multiple times. The dinosaurs ruled the planet for 165 million years, far longer than humans have existed, and yet they were wiped out in a single day. If a similar event happens to us before we establish an off-world presence, we're gone. And if that's what happens to every civilization, then it's no wonder the universe is silent. There's another, even more disturbing possibility. What if the reason we don't hear alien civilizations is that they're hiding? This idea is known as the dark forest hypothesis. It suggests that the universe is not empty, but dangerous. Imagine a vast dark forest. Every civilization is a hunter, silent, hidden, watching. If they make noise, they risk being discovered. And in this forest, the rule is simple: kill or be killed. Any civilization that announces its presence risks being wiped out by another. Because in a universe with limited resources, the safest move is to eliminate the competition before they become a threat. If this is true, then we might have already made a terrible mistake. In 1974, we broadcast the Arecibo message, a signal announcing our existence to the universe. In 2012, we sent a message toward the exoplanet Gliese 526. And in 2029, one of our earliest deep space signals will finally reach a nearby star system. If something is out there, they might already know about us. Can we survive the Great Filter? If the Great Filter is real, then we are at a crossroads. Either we are among the first intelligent civilizations to exist, or we are racing toward our own extinction. So what can we do? Our first priority should be avoiding self-destruction. That means responsible use of technology, safeguarding our planet, and developing ways to survive beyond Earth. Because the sooner we establish a presence on other worlds, the harder we are to wipe out. A single catastrophe could destroy us on Earth. But if we are spread across the solar system, or even beyond, we become far more resilient. The Great Filter may be waiting for us, but maybe, just maybe, we can be the first to break through. If we do, then we might not only survive, we might be the ones to fill the universe with life. Because if the stars truly are empty, then it's up to us to bring them to life.